You know, there is nothing more satisfying than seeing two giant robots fight, and when you can do that in an alternate history, then you know you have brought something good into this world. Hello everyone, I'm Matt Mitrovic, the alternate historian, and today I'm reviewing Peter Tieryas' United States, Japan, and Mecha Samurai Empire. For those who don't know, the United States of Japan is set in an alternate timeline where the Axis powers won World War II, and the United States has been split between Germany and Japan. If this seems similar to The Man in the High Castle, well it is, as United States of Japan is a spiritual sequel to that book. What differentiates the USJ from High Castle, however, is that Japan doesn't come off as some backwards nation existing only at the whim of the Nazis. In USJ, Japan is an equal power that obtains nuclear weapons first, and developed Mecha that, for the first book at least, the Germans can't really counter, which is a change I like. The United States of Japan begins inside a Japanese internment camp shortly after America surrenders. It's actually a pretty powerful scene and harkens back to tales of when Allied soldiers liberated Nazi concentration camps in Europe. And no, I'm not saying America's treatment of Japanese Americans, while horrible, is anywhere near the genocide committed by the Germans. It nevertheless still makes you wonder how those camps would have been remembered in a world where America was defeated. Flash forward to the 80s and we meet Captain Beniko Ishimura, a video game censor working in Los Angeles for the Japanese puppet state, the United States of Japan, which controls most of Western America. Ben is the type of person who only looks out for number one, is considered by his fellow officers to be lazy and untrustworthy, the later because as a child he turned his parents in for conspiring against the USJ. Ben's policy of just getting by, however, is interrupted when the daughter of a rogue general Ben once served is found dead. This general is suspected to be the man behind an illegal video game called USA, which is a first-person shooter set in a timeline where America defeated Japan and not the other way around. In the game, Japan decided not to join Germany in their attack on Russia, and instead attacked America directly, leading to Japan's eventual defeat. Ben is forced to join Agent Akiko Tsukino, and I apologize if I mispronounced that, a member of Japan's secret police, in the hunt for the general. Akiko is a true believer in the righteousness of Japan's cause and will not hesitate to kill anyone who gets in her way, but as their quest continues, both she and Ben will question their deeply held beliefs, especially as the truth behind why San Diego, once the jewel of Japanese California, is now a bombed-out ruin home to rebels known as the George Washingtons. In all honesty, USJ is an okay book. To be fair, it's a solid murder mystery / political thriller story, plus the two main POV characters are both well developed and you will sympathize and hate them in equal measure. Admittedly, the world created can be weird at times and resembles some of the more surreal and bloodier animes out there, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but could be distracting for some. No, what turned me off to USJ was a lack of mech battles, and personally, I don't think I'm being unreasonable here. Much of the advertising behind the book focused on the mechs, so I expected to see more of them going into it. Instead, USJ only has a couple of scenes featuring giant robots, which was disappointing. Thankfully, the sequel, Mecha Samurai Empire, is all about mechs. Set in the 90s, our new hero is Makoto Fujimoto, or Mac, a war orphan who wants to become a mecha pilot. Unfortunately, Mac is only an average student, but he is pretty good at video games and hopes that will help him get a high score in his upcoming mecha simulation tests. However, when an obstinate lieutenant sabotages Mac's test, it seems Mac's dreams are over. That is, until Mac helps stop a terrorist attack, giving him a shot to join a private military corporation that uses mechs. If Mac does well, he may get a chance to attend the Berkeley Military Academy and finally train to be a pilot. In the shadow of a coming war between Japan and the Reich, Mac experiences successes and tragedies as he follows his dreams, but he begins to realize that there are more important things out there than piloting a mech. Now, I enjoyed Mecha Samurai Empire more than I did the United States of Japan for several reasons. For example, there's only one POV character, which simplifies the storytelling, and the weirdness from the last book is toned down slightly, but we still get a unique world that is heavily influenced by anime and video games. In fact, there are a lot of references to video games in the book, including obscure ones, and given Peter worked in the video game industry, I'm sure I missed many others. More importantly, we get a lot of mech battles and a look at how culture could be impacted by seeing giant robots stomping around everywhere. Also, I just kind of connected with Mac as a character at a personal level. I know what it's like to be a nerd with dreams and how sometimes the world can be so unfair for no reason at all. Seeing Mac keep trying, even when the smart thing to do would be just to give up, was inspiring. So, if you're looking to read some new alternate history, then I can recommend The United States of Japan and Mecha Samurai Empire. While both books can be considered standalones, if you want the full experience, it's best to start with USJ. Again, it's not necessarily a bad book, but if you're like me and spent way too much time watching anime on Toonami, then you might just need a little patience before you get to the good stuff. Well, that's all I have to say on the subject. If you like what I do, please comment, subscribe, share this video, support me on Patreon, where you can vote on my next book review. I'm Matt Mitrovic, the alternate historian. Bye.